Hello and welcome to Master Your Mindset with your host, Isis Foster. This is the place to be for anyone who is on a personal development journey. I will be sharing with you my own mindset hacks and personal past experiences. Please subscribe and share if you enjoy what I'm about to share with you and you've taken value from it. You never know who may need to hear it. Hello and welcome back, guys. I am again so excited to have you here and to have you tuning in to this week's episode of Master Your Mindset. This week's topic is one which I know is going to resonate with so many of you out there. In the coaching world, this is something that we are faced with clients on a daily basis. And it's something that no matter what setting you're in, it can happen to absolutely anyone. So today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 signs you're experiencing burnout and 5 steps as to how you can overcome these. Because no matter what setting you're in, no matter who you're surrounded with, no matter how positive you are, this is something that can happen to any single one of us. So this is really important that you are aware if this is happening to you, and if it is, how you can overcome this. So number 1 sign you are experiencing burnout is that you feel constantly exhausted no matter what environment you're in. So you could be surrounded by friends, you could be in the happiest place in the world, you could be okay mentally, but your body is physically telling you that you need to slow down a little bit. So feeling constantly exhausted is a sign that you are experiencing burnout in a different area of your life. And I've actually personally been in that situation myself where I thought I was really happy, thought I was okay, but I just constantly felt tired. Throughout the day, I would be taking little naps every couple of hours, and I knew there was something not quite right. I remember actually going to the doctor about this too and asking them if this was normal, and they said absolutely not. For someone your age and your body weight and your height, you shouldn't be experiencing fatigue like this. So if you are in a position today where you feel constantly exhausted, no matter who you're surrounded with and no matter what you're doing, you just constantly feel tired, then maybe take a step back and have a look at all the areas of your life. Is there an area of your life where you feel like you are burning out? Because 9 times out of 10 there will be. Number 2, you feel agitated even when you're in your comfort zone and surrounded by loved ones. So most of us have a comfort zone which we live within. This is a zone which we feel really relaxed in, a zone which doesn't make us feel stressed, a zone that we know we're always going to be safe in. And if you are in that zone on a daily basis, yet you still are feeling agitated and you feel like you've got a bit of brain fog, and little things that never used to annoy you now annoy you, this could potentially be a sign that you are experiencing burnout too. If you're surrounded by people that you absolutely love and people that don't stress you out and people that make you feel good, yet you within yourself are feeling really annoyed, or little things they're doing are really just peeing you off a little bit, then this is also a sign that you could be experiencing burnout. Number 3, this is one which I know a lot of people are going to resonate with, and this is kind of up for debate because I know quite a few people out there don't enjoy what they do day to day. They're kind of just going through the motions and going to work and just showing up because they've got a bill to pay at the end of the month, whatever it is. This could also be a sign of burnout. If you're dragging yourself to work and you find it really hard to get started. So a lot of clients that I work within an office setting, or they're at university and they're completing dissertations and all of the things that you have to hand in there. And if you are finding it really hard to get yourself started, or even to get yourself out of bed in the morning to be in your workspace to begin whatever assignment you need to be doing or whatever project you're starting, if you feel within yourself that you are dragging yourself there and there is not a single bit of motivation within you, this could also be a sign that you are currently experiencing burnout. It is the most awful thing to be experiencing, because you know that these are things that you need to be doing. You know you need to show up to work. You know that you need to be working at your university course in order to get that degree. You know you need to be showing up for your apprenticeship, whatever it is. If you feel like you are physically having to drag yourself to a place of work, and you'll then get into work and then finding it really, really hard to get yourself started on whatever it is that you need to be doing, this is a huge sign that you could be experiencing burnout. Number 4, you lack the energy to be consistently productive. This is a huge one, because as human beings, we all struggle to be constantly productive. There is not a single soul out there who is productive 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. There is no one out there who is that productive. However, there is a fine line between being consistently productive and being always productive. So consistently productive means that when you start being productive, you are then able to stay productive for 20 minutes or an hour or even longer. Being forever productive means that you never take a break, that you never sleep, and you're constantly on the go. And that is not healthy for anybody. As human beings, we all need to be able to take a break when we need one. We need to be able to rest. We need to be able to switch off. But if you are someone who doesn't have the energy to be consistently productive, even for it to be 20 minutes or half an hour, then that again is another sign that you could be experiencing burnout. Number 5, you find it really hard to concentrate. So I know personally, I have to be in the right headspace in order to do things. For example, this podcast. This podcast was actually meant to be recorded yesterday, but I had 0% energy, like actually zero. I came home from work, sat on the sofa, and I knew I had to record the podcast, but there wasn't a single part of me that felt the urge to do that. And as a human, that is completely normal. The difference is I've gotten up today and I've been able to record this for you guys to all listen to. Some people will put things off and then never actually get back to doing them. So if you are someone who finds it hard to be able to pick yourself up when you fall off the wagon, and then you also, whenever you get on the wagon, you find it really hard to concentrate on whatever you're doing, this could be another sign that you are experiencing burnout. Finding it hard to concentrate means that when you start a task, your mind is wandering to so many other things. For example, if you were at university and you're typing up an essay, and then somebody comes in and distracts you, and then you have to go back to that essay and carry on typing, you find it insanely difficult to then pick up from where you left off. Same in a workplace. If you are in an office setting, let's say, for example, and you're typing up a project, and then you've got a co-worker who asks you to go and help them do something, and then you've got to come back to your project. If you find it hard to go back to what you started doing before they disrupted you, then you're obviously finding it hard to concentrate on whatever you're doing at that time. So that is the 5th and final sign that you could potentially be experiencing a burnout. So the most important thing is, how do we overcome these things? How do we get through the feeling of feeling burnt out? Because for a lot of people, they don't actually realise they are burnt out. They put it down to things like, oh, I'm just lazy. I'm just not feeling myself today. Oh, I'm just really not with it. I'll just put that off for another day. Oh, you know what I'm like. I'm always forgetful. I find it really hard to concentrate. Like, people put it down to all these different things. But the reality is, it could potentially be a burnout, which leads to higher risk things. For example, mental health issues. It can also decrease your energy levels and cause you to have things like insomnia and loads of mental and physical illnesses if burnout is let to be go off on its own tangent. The perfect thing about burnout, though, is that it can be managed. It's not something that you're going to have forever and ever and ever. If you notice any of those symptoms within yourself, you have the ability to change those things without any kind of medication, without any kind of specialist. You have the power within yourself to be able to reverse the burnout so that you are able to focus, you do have more energy, you do love spending time with your loved ones, and you are within your comfort zone, but you feel good and you feel relaxed. So you're probably all wondering, how on earth do you change all of those drastic signs of burnout into something which allows you to grow as a person? So I'm going to share with you now my 5 simple steps for overcoming burnout. So number 1, evaluate your options. So many of us have options available to us, but because we've been doing the same thing for so long, we only think there is one thing available to us, whether that be in a workspace, whether that be studying, whether that be in your personal life. We have so many options available to us, but the scariest thing is stepping out of your comfort zone to find those options. And if you have been doing the same thing for years and years and years, you almost put yourself in this tunnel of thinking there is only one outcome for you. There is only one way that you can live your life. There's only one path that you can take in order to get to where you want to be, when in reality, that is so far from the truth, because there are so many different options, so many different connections we can make in order to get to where we want to be. And 9 times out of 10, the place that we want to be and the place that we have visioned for so long is actually so far below where we can actually get to if we put our minds to it. So evaluate your options and set goals for what needs to be done. Number 2, seek support. As proud as we can be as humans, there is absolutely nothing wrong with asking for advice and support from people around us, from people on the internet. There is nothing wrong with asking someone who's got more knowledge than you for help in situations like this. The one thing that I changed with my mindset over the course of the last 3 years is the thought that people do actually want to help you. People aren't out there to get you. People aren't out there to ruin you or to compete with you. People who have more knowledge than you want to help you. One of the greatest things that I find with coaching my clients is that people come to me because they see that I've got more knowledge in certain aspects of their life than them. And I've got the tools and techniques to be able to help them get from where they currently are to where they want to be. And I feel so grateful that people come to me asking for advice and asking for me to mentor them. So if there is somebody out there who you look up to, or somebody out there who you know can help you, don't be afraid of asking them for help. They will receive it as the biggest compliment, like I do, because it is such a beautiful thing to have a gift which you are able to share with other people, and most importantly, be able to help people change something they're not happy with in their life. So do not ever be afraid of asking for support if you're struggling in an area of your life. Number 3, try relaxing activities. And I know this is going to sound so cliche, and throughout lockdown, this is literally, I feel like the whole world, the only thing we did was relaxing activities. But try things like yoga. I never used to be the biggest fan of yoga because I thought, oh, it's just one of those pretentious things that people do. But genuinely, yoga is something that helps with your breathing so much. It's something that calms your nervous system and something that allows you to stretch your bodies in ways that you wouldn't usually do if you were just sat at a desk in an office, or sat in a desk at university, or just sitting down in general. Most of us do jobs where we're sat for hours and hours and hours. So do something physical with your body. Allow it to stretch in ways that you wouldn't usually move it. Painting as well, I find to be so relaxing. I don't know what it is, but I think it's just like putting the paint on the paintbrush and picking your colours and getting a canvas and just literally going wild with it. I find it to be super relaxing. So even if you're not creative, like I'm not creative at all. My sister definitely took all of the creative genes in the womb. But for us people who are not creative, it's still very relaxing for us to do. Number 4, get a good night's sleep. I cannot tell you how important it is to have a good rest every single night. Some people say they can function on like 6 hours sleep. I'm definitely not one of those people. I have to have a minimum of 8 hours. If I don't, the next day I can just so feel it on my body, physically and mentally. It has a toll on how I am, and it's just not fun. I always think back to when I was younger and I'm like, how on earth did I go on nights out, come back at 3 and then get up for uni the next day at like 8 o'clock in the morning? Because there is no chance in hell that I would be able to do that now. My body just would not allow it. It also helps to protect your health as well. Like, you have no idea how important sleep is for you. It impacts absolutely everything in your life, your health, your mind, the interactions you have with people, the energy you give off to others. It is so important that you have enough rest so that you are able to function at a 10 out of 10 level the following day. And number 5, and this one I absolutely love, the 5th way of overcoming burnout is through mindfulness. Mindfulness can be done in so many different ways, and it's the act of focusing your breath flow and being intensely aware of what you're sensing and feeling at any given moment. So this is you being able to be in control of how you are breathing. And along with sleep, breathing is the second most important thing. Like, without breathing, you're not going to function. If you've ever been in a really stressful situation where you literally can feel your heart pounding out of your chest and your breaths are getting shorter and shorter and really, really fast. In fact, stop the podcast right now and try doing that. Try breathing really, really fast and you'll instantly feel anxious. Breathing fast means that your nervous system is in shock. It's like, what on earth is going? We're pumping all this blood really fast around the body into the heart, just so we can stay alive. It's what happens when you get nervous. It's what happens when you feel anxious. It's what happens when you feel really angry. Being able to conquer mindfulness is incredible, and it will pay you back tenfold. If you're able to just sit there and take 6 deep breaths, and this is actually a technique which I share with my clients, close your eyes and take 6 really deep breaths. So deep, breathe in for 6 and then breathe out for 6 and repeat that 6 times, and that can change any sort of environment that you are in. If you are feeling in a nervous state or feel anxious or sad, do that and it will change your whole breathing pattern. So alongside that, be able to face situations with openness and patience and without judgment. So I don't know about you, but for me personally, if I'm put in a situation which feels a little bit uncomfortable, my mindset will automatically go to the worst outcome possible in that situation. Being able to practice mindfulness allows you to calm down. So even if your brain does do that, and this is something which I have learned about myself over the past couple of years, if your brain goes to something really bad instantly, you need to be able to have the techniques to put yourself back into a state of calm before you receive that news, if that makes sense. I'm all for expressing emotion and being able to release anything that you're feeling internally. However, if you allow yourself to just feel that internally and don't do anything about it, your internal feelings are only going to get worse. They're not going to get better. So if you're able to go from a state of calm, then into a state of nervousness or stress or anger, and then be able to bring yourself back, you will feel 10 times better. So I'm just going to run over everything that we have spoken about in this podcast. If you've got a pen and paper, it would be amazing to just jot some notes down so that you're able to refer back to this at any time that you need. So the first 5 signs that you're experiencing burnout is that you feel constantly exhausted, no matter what environment you're in. Number 2, you feel agitated even when you're in your comfort zone and with your loved ones. Number 3, you drag yourself to work every morning and you find it hard to get started. Number 4, you lack the energy to be consistently productive. Number 5, you find it hard to concentrate. So those are the 5 signs that you may be experiencing burnout. The 5 ways you can overcome these are to, number 1, evaluate your options and set goals for what you need to do. Number 2, seek support. People around you want to help you. Don't be afraid of asking out. Number 3, try relaxing activities such as yoga and painting. Number 4, get a good night's sleep, as this helps to protect your health and allows you to show up as your best possible self the following day. And number 5, practice mindfulness, because this, honestly, is a complete game changer. Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. If you feel like you have been affected by any of the topics discussed in this episode, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at IsisFoster1 or click the show notes in this podcast episode for a free clarity call to discuss the topics further. You don't have to do this alone. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Master Your Mindset with your host, me, Isis Foster. If you have enjoyed what I have shared with you today, I would really appreciate it if you could share it on your social media platforms and tag me at IsisFoster1. My goal with creating this podcast is to reach as many people as possible and help them get to wherever they want to be. So if you're in that position of being able to share this, it would be very much appreciated. Can't wait for you to tune in to the next podcast episode. Have an amazing week.